We thank you so much for watching Law School Made Easy. At Law School Made Easy 256, we want to go to the causes of the 1966 KABAKA crisis, and then we shall also cover the effects, the causes and the impacts or effects of the 1953 KABAKA crisis. Of course, we have a video about the story of the crisis, but now we have singled out the causes and the effects of the crisis. Number one of the first causes of the crisis was the 1962 Independence Constitution. That the independence of the constitution we got at independence is one of the first causes of the crisis in 1966. How is it a cause? That this constitution did not clearly specify or solve the issue of power. That you find you have a president who was ceremonial and the prime minister who had executive powers, and the prime minister and the president had to crash simply because the constitution of the 1962 did not clearly explain the role of every body, so it becomes one of the causes. The next cause is the character of the KABAKA of the president of Uganda at the time, and who doubled as the KABAKA of Uganda. That the KABAKA was faced by conflicting loyalty. You see, he was the KABAKA of Uganda and he was the president of Uganda. So at this time he was serving two masters at the go. So he failed to balance them. Where the prime minister wanted to hold the referendum, the KABAKA refused because the referendum would affect the people of Uganda. So his character as a person also led to the crisis. Another point to support the character of the king of Uganda is the point that he wrote a letter. This will come as a cause also, but is that he had talked to the queen without discussing or dialoguing with the prime minister. So this also led to the crisis. Then another serious important is the 1964 referendum. Remember, at Marlborough, Obote, being the prime minister, had been given a mandate to carry out a referendum for the people in the lost counties to decide whether to stay in Uganda or to go back to Bunyoro, or to stay under the hands of the protectorate government. But when Obote carried out, this was not good to Mutesa, and this caused a conflict between the two. So the 1964 referendum is one of the causes. Then the other causes of the crisis is the character of Obote himself. He was very ambitious. He had wanted to become the president. No wonder he turned himself president in 1966. So his character alone also led to the crisis. Let us also look at the propaganda by Ewan Walugembe. Remember, Walugembe was the brother to the king, who went on saying that the king had a machine gun which would kill 1,000 people in just minutes. So when Obote learned about this, Obote definitely had to react by exiling the KABAKA for fear of being overthrown first. And then we have the advice of the Attorney General at the time. The Attorney General, I think was Vida Isa, advised the Prime Minister Obote that the Constitution had been already violated, so there was no need to respect it further. This also was one of the causes of the crisis. Then some of the immediate causes. The attack on the Rubiri. Obote ordered his one-eyed man, I think brigadier at the time, or colonel, Idi Amin Dada, who attacked the Rubiri. That was one of the serious causes of the 1966 crisis. We are looking at the deportation of the KABAKA as one of the causes. The KABAKA was deported to England after the attack. Then the KABAKA was deported to England. This also intensified, escalated the 1966 crisis. The other important cause of the 1966 crisis is the overwhelming support from the people of Buganda. The people of Buganda kept on liking and appreciating their king, and this annoyed Obote. He thought they would form a coalition against him. That love from the Baganda, you can see even today, that the Baganda have a genuine love to their king. So this, in the time, caused the crisis. Now, those are some of the causes of the crisis. Let us now cross to the effects, the impacts of the crisis. After all this, what happened? Number one, there was an end to the 1966 Constitution. That Constitution was abolished. The Independence Constitution was abolished. Number two, all kingdoms which were under federal and others were abolished in Uganda as one of the serious effects. The other effect is that the king was exiled to England. Another effect is that there was the introduction of the 1966 Pigeonhole Constitution. The introduction of the 1966 Pigeonhole Constitution, which replaced the 1962 Independence Constitution. There was the declaration of a state of emergency. They declared a state of emergency in Uganda, which actually became a reason for Idi Amin to overthrow by saying that you cannot put a country under a very long state of emergency. The other serious impact is that Obote rose to power. Uganda became a republic, running away from the semi-federal state. Uganda officially became a republic with the president who then Obote had become a president, and very many others. So those are some of the causes and effects of the 1966 crisis. What I cannot miss is the letter to the Queen of England as one of the causes, in which the KABAKA or the president was asking for ammunition from the king. When Obote asked him, he said he was preparing for his enemies, and Obote now did not know whether Obote was the enemy or someone else was the enemy to the king. So those are some of the causes and the impacts of the 1966 KABAKA crisis. Thank you so much. Stay tuned.